Today we're taking a look at another three-row flagship SUV. This one belongs to Volkswagen. It's the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas with the Execline package, and we also have a R-Line package stacked on top of that. So things are going to look a little bit more sporty in this review. Now, this Volkswagen Atlas does have a starting price of $60,000 Canadian, and see if you really get your money's worth with this Volkswagen Atlas. I'm James, this is Test Drive. Let's get right on the road. Alrighty, so on the road now with the 2024 VW Atlas. I've got to say the VW word because if I say the full word, this assistant that nobody likes and nobody uses is going to turn on and harass me, and I don't want that to interrupt my flow when speaking, so I'm going to say VW. Anyways, let's get right into it. So far this week, I have been very comfortable. No complaints in that department. You know, and I think it's meant to be that. I think the Volkswagen Atlas as a whole is just meant to be one of those point A to point B appliance cars where you just use it and that's it. You don't do anything else with it. Which is normal, which, you know, you kind of do need big SUVs like that on the road. It does give you good options. It gives you space options and it gives you people hauling options because you've got a massive three-row car and a pretty big wheelbase. I feel like I have a lot of room in here, which is nice too. We do have some performance. I've got an eco mode, a comfort mode, a custom mode, a sport mode, an off-road mode, and a snow mode. So you're pretty much good for every mode that the weather or your situation calls for. But I'll put it in sport mode and give you the beams here. Press it full throttle, quite a bit of lag, but yeah, it can go if you need it to go. You know, and I'm sure you heard a little bit of that engine sound. I'm fairly certain that that's pumped in audio, but also I don't really hate it because it does give something like a Volkswagen Atlas a little bit of personality. So you know what, why not? Why not feel like a race car driver while you're driving your big three-row SUV? Who cares? It's fun. So I showed you the performance. Let me talk to you about the engine. We are dealing with a Volkswagen 4-cylinder 2 TSI that's going to give us 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. And that's not actually even a bad number. I mean, it's like maybe a little bit less than its competitors. You know, I think the other guys are doing a little bit more power and stuff like that, and maybe they're turbocharged, whatever. But again, this is meant from point A to point B. It's not really meant for like crazy spirited driving. But that being said, the body roll is pretty tucked in. Like, it's not that bad at all, which is surprising because it is a very massive vehicle and it does kind of feel like that at times. Now let me quick mention the seats. So far here in my driver's seat, which is where I've been all week, is really comfortable. I've got a whole bunch of different settings I could use here, and I could do a road trip in this thing no problem. I actually think that this is one of the cars that are probably meant to do long drives in because it is very comfortable. I like the color of the interior, I like the color of the seats. The beige is probably going to cost you a little bit more, but it might be worth it because it does make the interior of the Volkswagen just that more interesting. Whereas as a car where you would expect it not to be so interesting. So that's nice. In the rear, you have plenty of room. When I stepped in, I said to myself, this is a very high seat. Like, why am I up so high? And then I take a seat in the back and I realized that, okay, this makes sense because I have plenty of room to put my feet under the driver's seat to give me even more space. We also have that third row seat, which is really nice as well. Surprisingly, I can fit into it. Usually I tell you, don't bother, I can't fit into it. I can fit into it with the seat up and everything, but I don't think I would do it for very long. I don't think full-size adults would do it for very long, but then again, your option is there, so it's great, and it is pretty well designed. Their spatial awareness, I think, in this cabin has been really good because you got plenty of storage and plenty of space for people or things, like I said, so that's really awesome. Now let's move on to probably the biggest pain point, and this goes across all VWs, is the infotainment system, at least the recent ones. Like, we saw it on the ID4, we saw it on the Tiguan, I think we even saw it on the Golf R last year. There's no buttons, there's no physical buttons. Like, there literally isn't even one. Like, there's none. It's just all touch and like weird haptic stuff that nobody's liked when it came out and nobody likes it now. So like, you know, it's literally the worst thing. Like, the software isn't too bad. I haven't really had any glitches with this one, But I feel like Volkswagen is eventually just going to abandon it at a certain point, because I think a lot of people have problems with it, and I think it's really based on a touch-based system. So I don't know if it'll evolve into them putting buttons back, because I am not the only one to complain about this. I complain about it in every VW that I drive, and I know for a fact that other reviewers and journalists and whatever you want to call them, they all say the same thing. The lack of physical touch buttons is just annoying, and it's not usable. And it's just like, where are they? We need them to come back. Please, Volkswagen, your cars are decent. Don't bring them down with this not great system to use. Now we of course have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, as well as the wired options as well. And like you said, like, the buttons suck, but the infotainment itself, its responsiveness, all that stuff, bang on, no problem. I'm just missing those buttons. I like the built-in navigation, that's good. I like the different information it gives you. I like the customizability of the gauge cluster that I have. I can have a whole bunch of different views, and I can choose what I have, my left, my right, and my center. It's really nice. The way that it changes is very, very well refined too, so that's really cool. I like the fact that you can customize it and make things a little bit your own, give it a little bit of a you touch within a certain amount of settings. Obviously, you can't go crazy. Now, I also do have a heads-up display that's displaying my speedometer and all that different stuff. And yeah, it's just been a really, really good week. Like, you know, it's been a week that's been getting me to work and back with, you know, when I want to have a little bit of noise, I can just, you know, tap the throttle, because there's enough lag where I can basically push the throttle to the floor and it won't kick in the turbo, or it won't do anything where I will go fast or into the next car, so, which is cool. But I do like this noise. I don't know, I think it's one of my favorite things, because it's such a big three-row SUV, you're not really expecting to have this pumped in audio, so that's cool. So let's do some final thoughts for the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. Like I said, this is the appliance car. This is the point A to point B, big SUV car that you're looking for. So with that, I think it hits all the boxes. You've got your, you've got your Apple CarPlay, dual zone automatic climate control, heated and ventilated seating. You have, your blind spot, your backup camera, 360 degree. It's all here. Everything that you would want from something that costs $60,000 is here. But you don't really have like a really sporty, super fun to drive SUV that's all these things, and it's not really in your face in terms of design language. It's just clean, it's just simple, and I think that's what people in this market are going for. They don't care about horsepower and torque, they don't care about too much technology. If it's there, great. If it isn't, oh well. But if you are spending $60K, if you want to, I think the Execline is the way to go, but I feel like $60K is a lot for a three-row SUV, for a Volkswagen Atlas that doesn't have like a lot of pep to its step. It's hard to recommend it, but in the lower trims, it still comes three-row. There's a lot of stuff that still comes standard. So you're not really losing out there, which is awesome. So I feel like you'd probably be better suited to go with those guys, maybe in the lower end kind of thing, because I think you'll maybe get a little bit more bang for your buck in that sense. But yeah, the second I stepped into this car, I immediately said, I feel like a parent with more than one kid. And I feel like that this might be the demographic of that without stepping to a full minivan. And if I had a bunch of space needs in my family, the Volkswagen Atlas would be a very decent choice. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Make sure that you're subscribed. Make sure you like, you comment. Let me know what you think about the Volkswagen Atlas. Would you buy it? Let me know, do you own one? Previous gen, current gen, whatever. What do you find? I wanna see our owners' experiences. I wanna hear from you guys in the community. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like, comment, and everything like that. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll see you in the next car, see you in the next week. Take care.